The Dearborn Independent, July 2nd, 1927, Volume 27, Number 37. Mr. Ford's page of the Dearborn Independent. Flattery, not friendship. Smooth talk in business has been much relied upon in the past. Flattery is a weapon which has been too frequently used. A compliment entirely loses its value if it arises from any form of self-seeking. A man's word or praise ought to be as sound and good as his word of promise. But there are people who know that some of those with whom they come in contact are so susceptible to praise that a little of it knocks them off their balance. It saps their good sense and places them at considerable disadvantage. To do business in this manner is distinctly dishonest. Flatterers are never friends, although seeming friends are often flatterers. We have developed in this country a habit of backslapping and indiscriminate boasting. In the past, this never did go down with men of hard horse sense, but they had a pernicious influence on young men, because young men naturally thought that this was the standard way to do things. This is a situation which mature businessmen have observed with something of impatience and something of misgiving. It must not be assumed, however, that they regret to see a human tone in business relations. Nor must it be assumed that their ideal of a businessman is that he should be strong as steel and just as cold. There are two great barriers to the free intercourse of minds, to absolute transparency of conduct, and their first, a designing attitude towards another, and second, that which the designing attitude breeds, namely suspicion in the mind of the man against whom the design is laid. They're both unwholesome mentally and disruptive socially. They constitute the major part of the silent warfare of life. All men like praise. If a man says he doesn't, he should examine himself again. He may not like to be praised to his face. He may be irritated by the fawning form in which the praise is offered to him. He may be angered by his knowledge that the offered praise is insincere and has an ulterior motive. He may be sickened by the hollowness of it. A man who had done nothing very much was once pained by the praise he received. He said, "They all praise me for the wrong thing." They had not considered his work enough to see the real point in it. And what he wanted was not the sticky sweetness of personal compliments, but discriminating and appreciative consideration of his work. All men like their good work to be praised, but that is quite a different thing. There is something normal and wholesome about friends being able to meet frankly in consideration of a piece of work. So if a man says he dislikes praise, he must define what he means. When a man is able to praise his own work to himself, to behold the work of his hands and take pleasure in it, he is taking praise, just as much as if he eagerly drank in compliments spoken by another. The evil of life consists in all these wholesome and pleasurable sensibilities being misused to selfish ends. No matter what department of human nature you look into, the evil you see comes from selfish misuse. And so men have brought in evil thought the gate of praise. If you see that a man's weakness is liability to flattery, and you take advantage of that to influence his judgment and his will, you are following the same tactics as the man who sees another purse conveniently exposed and takes it. If you see that a man is built of such malleable material that a friendly compliment advanced disarms him and lays him open to your power, and if you deliberately thus disarm him for the accomplishment of your design, whatever it may be, good or bad, you are working along a dangerous line. You are exalting yourself to a place which no human being is entitled to assume toward another for reasons of profit. It is a serious thing to descend to this kind of strategy or trickery, even for the best purposes. No one adopts these tactics without sacrificing a good deal of sincerity. And besides, they are not necessary. There is nothing that this sort of strategy can accomplish, which frankness, honesty of purpose, and even blunt truthfulness of statement cannot better accomplish. The straight open way is healthier for the mind of the man who is making the advance, and it creates a better relation with the man who is being advanced upon. The young businessman will more fully trust the older man who does not flatter him and does not follow his flattery with presumptions of the young man's favor. Thousands of people are that way. They pay compliment and they believe that constitutes an admission ticket to special privileges. Deny them the privilege and they go away saying quite opposite things about the person they hope to work. A certain delicacy of character will teach the self-seeking person that it is a vast presumption to offer praise to anyone, and the only consideration that can justify it is its sincerity and unselfishness. Otherwise, it's a profanation of one of the finest forms of human relationship. If a young man is in business and is wise, he will pay less attention to those who flatter his self-esteem and more to those who stir his energies. A good, well-balanced critic who is looking to the success of the work and not to the feelings of the man who may be at the head of it is the best kind of friend for a young businessman to have. And if the young businessman is keen, he will see that such a one's interest and attention is the most real, yet the most delicate form of friendship and praise.